Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Amanda Nova, and today I'm going to be talking about light language. So what is light language? Maybe you've heard people speaking it before and it sounds like people are speaking in tongues. Maybe, it's something that you've absolutely never heard of, but you'd like to, learn more. So light language is essentially the language of our souls. When you hear people speaking light language, it sounds like a different language. Sometimes it sounds like somebody clicking their tongue. So it's like a bunch of different sounds and different words, I guess, but they're not really words. But what it is high frequency. So it's meant to be felt and not heard. So there are different light languages of different celestial groups. Sometimes light language is actually the language of an ancient civilization. So it does come from different places, but essentially it's a frequency. So if you as a soul had an incarnation on, let's say, Pleiades, then when I speak Pleiadian, that might really affect you in a different way. Like you might hear it and be like, wow, like I don't know what she's saying, but I recognize that. Like that seems really familiar. And when you feel it in your body, what it does is it opens portals. When I'm transmitting light codes, you also are receiving downloads of certain things. So sometimes I will do light codes to clear something. So maybe you're having something, trauma, emotion cleared out of the body. You're receiving these codes that activate your cosmic DNA. It can do all different kinds of stuff, right? It's really, really cool. Light language can be written or it can be spoken. Not everyone that speaks light language can speak a plethora of different languages. Some people only speak the languages where their soul has incarnated. Some people only speak languages of groups that they've come in contact with. But the more that you open light language, the more languages that sort of come on board. Also, I forgot to mention, light language can look like a sign language. So sometimes it's spoken with the hands, and some of the languages are a little bit more with the hands than other ones. So just a little bit anecdotally about me and my experience with light language, I had maybe once or twice heard or seen people speaking light language before, and it always looked a little bit freaky to me, but I always felt something from it. Like it opened up some piece of me. And as I was learning more about Kundalini activation and becoming someone who facilitates that, one day I was receiving an activation and I just started to move my hands in all of these symbols, essentially doing light language with my hands. And then the next time I was like, what if I just let myself speak? Like what would happen? And out of me came different sounds. So it was kind of like, and some of them are just tiny sounds like that, some of the languages. So that came out, and I remember, I tell this story on a lot of podcasts that I've been on, but I remember that I was talking to my dad and we were having a regular conversation, and I started doing this like signing. Now, I know that I speak with my hands a lot. I'm doing it now because I'm Italian, and it's something that I do, but I was literally signing, and he was like, when did you learn sign language? I was like, I don't know sign language. What are you talking about? I didn't even realize I was doing it, to be honest. And I've controlled it. Like when I first started doing light language, it used to open all the time, and it was really hard for me to control it. I was obviously able to not like burst out in public, but anytime I was doing a Kundalini session on someone, I was doing light language the entire time, and it was a little bit all over the place, and then I would be exhausted after doing a session. Now I use light language very intentionally. Now that I understand it more and have control over my use of it, I use it in different ways. So I use it on my clients that I'm working on for Kundalini, and I will use it to open portals to help them, reach other realms. I use it to channel. So I use it to communicate with the celestial beings, with spirit guides, with other dimensions. So if I'm doing a past life reading journey on someone, I'm sort of like half speaking light language and like half speaking English and explaining it. So it kind of sounds like this mix, like it almost sounds like I'm translating the light language. Now, there's no direct translation of light language. There's no book that's like, you know, there's not going to be like a Babbel on light language. So there's really no direct translation, but when I'm doing it that way, I am translating it, and it's just what's channeling through naturally. And so that's how we'll do a past life. And so that's something, and I don't actually know too many people that do it that way or channel it that way. And that only happens when I'm doing that kind of like reading. And if you ask a question, I might, you know, ask in light language and then, you know, receive and then speak in English. So that's just the way that I channel. I only know about one other person, I think, that does it that way. And that person was my mentor, because after it started happening to me, I went to her and I was like, what do I do with this? You have to help me. So really, really interesting. Also, I use it to clear things from the body, like I had said before, and I use it to do light transmissions, to transmit energy. So you'll see some light language on my Instagram page. And yeah, that's pretty much how I use it. So it's something that can open within you. It is a gift that, you know, everyone has access to if you open yourself up to receiving that. But like anything else, everybody has different levels of gifts, and everyone has different metaphysical and mystical gifts. So while I believe that everyone has gifts, not everyone can speak light language, but it is something that you can receive and let your soul receive. And if it is something that can open up for you, then it will open. So I'm going to do a little transmission so that you can feel it and so that you can hear it. Sometimes I know where it's coming from and who I'm speaking with, and other times I don't. So we'll just see who comes in. Ina karamoto korokole kia na karamoto koroko shoko ya hikia. I karamata karakole kia na karakole kia. Isa karamoto korokole kia ina karamoto koroko. Iki le kia na karakatiti le kiki eke na moto koroko totoko yokisuki. Ina karamata korokole kia na karamata karakiki kia. Una tata kiki ni kia na mata karakota toto yokia ina karana toto ki kolokia ina karana toto kia toto kiti kia kliki na mata karakota toto kia kliki na kamata tu. So that was a really high pitched frequency. Sometimes high-pitched can be Pleiadians, sometimes it's the blue or golden avians, who are a bird-like celestial group. Sometimes it can be fairy. That felt avian to me. That felt a little avian, but you let me know kind of what it feels. Sometimes high-pitched can also be Lemurian. So maybe Lemurian. I don't always know, but you just try to feel into it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Feel free to close your eyes and listen to that piece anytime that you would like, or you feel like you need a little bit of tune-up of energy, and subscribe and follow along if you are interested in this kind of content. And I will continue to share transmissions and information about what we're doing here. So thank you, and I will see you next time.